Thank you everyone for joining the London Emerging Tech Meetup group. So every month we are bringing a lot of innovative topics in this meetup group. Today we had over 74 registrations for this meetup. So this meetup, we are focusing on the blockchain technology and also how you can build the solutions like decentralized finance applications using blockchain technology. So that is the main focus on today's meetup session. So every month we are bringing a lot of new innovative topics. So the last month session, we look at getting into the blockchain technology using the Neo platform. And this month session, we are focusing on decentralized finance application. What are the use cases and what kind of applications that we can create and how to get started with the development. So what are the tools and technologies you need to learn like that. So the next month, we are planning building Metaverse application. What are the things that we need to create blockchain solutions like that? So on behalf of Blue Chip Limited and the London Emerging Technology Meetup, I would welcome everyone for today's meetup. So let's get started. Today's focus, as I mentioned, building a DeFi or decentralized financing solution. So decentralized finance means the building a financial instrument solutions without a bank involvement, where we have a lot of solutions out there. If you look at different blockchain platforms, there are a lot of innovative products out there for decentralized finance. So we look at some of the use cases, not stopping from there, how to actually build a one solution like that. So what are the steps you need to follow, how to get started, what are the steps you need to follow in order to develop this kind of application. This is the agenda: introduction to decentralized finance, type of application, and building application using a Neo blockchain platform. So we shorten calls DeFi, decentralized finance. It's a kind of a $1 billion economy. If you look at total decentralized finance valuation, there are a lot of use cases and products available within the decentralized finance economy. There are a lot of kind of use case and scenarios we can implement. And every day, a lot of blockchain users on different platforms using this decentralized finance application for various reasons. So you can see it's a blockchain-based financial application aimed to disrupting the financial system. So where we don't need to involve a traditional bank when you're implementing a decentralized finance solution, where it's purely focused on the blockchain platform itself, where we can have the similar instrument like lending, borrowing, and other kind of transactions, getting interest rates, things like that from these solutions, but without involving a banking instrument. But we can have a certain regulations in place. There are certain frameworks at the moment that we need to follow in order to set up these kind of applications. So we look at these kind of solutions, how to get started, and what are the tools and technologies you need to follow in order to get started with this kind of application development. So these are some of the benefits of decentralized finance, where in here you can see flexibility, open. Everyone can then directly go into an application and they can start transacting with the application, right? So with their wallet, they have a different type of wallets. So just using their wallets, they can easily transact using the decentralized application. That is one of the main benefits that we have using this decentralized finance solution, and it's quite fast. There are a lot of solutions out there that we can use. So you can move assets anywhere, anytime, no permission required, no need to wait for long transfer times, and you can use the cryptocurrencies in the blockchain platform to do the necessary transaction. So it's open, no need to open account. So, traditionally when you open a bank account, there are a lot of documentation and a lot of things are involved, but there's no requirement like that, where we can easily open an account on this decentralized finance application. Only thing you need to have is a wallet. So wallet is, digital wallet. There are a lot of digital wallet applications out there that we can use to transact with different cryptocurrencies. So that is what you need. So this application will directly communicate with the digital wallet, and then we can start transacting with the applications like that. So you can see, so you don't need to provide you a lot of like personal information or the credit score things like that. Traditionally, the financial applications require that, where you can easily transact with the application, and you can look at the credibleness. You can read the other kind of resources in the community, in the articles. There are a lot of other like news sites and available sources to look at the creditworthiness and the credibleness of this platform. But it's the easy process to get started, and you can see the total the market valuation of the DeFi economy, where this is in billions of US dollars. There are a lot of people using every day for different kind of use cases and applications because of that reason. So you can see it's quite fast. So interest rate can be giving really good rates. So if you want to borrow some currency, so if you want to get high interest rate or high returns, you can use these DeFi applications. You can invest your cryptocurrencies and you can get a return out of it using these DeFi applications. So all the rates defined by the application platform itself or the exchanges itself. So there are certain kind of guidelines you can follow when you are using these kind of applications. But it's quite fast, and the processes are quite fast because the flexibility and easiness of the application development. So these are some of the use cases, some of the areas that we can develop. So that means there are a lot of applications built on these areas. And in today's session, we are going to look at area called yield financing, how you can create application that can generate some return, and what are the things that you need to do in order to build this kind of applications. So you can see some of the use cases, things like asset management. So to buy, sell, transfer, earn interest from a digital assets like NFT or other digital assets, how you can get interest, how you can buy, sell, or transfer these assets. So the assets management is one area of use cases that we can provide. And the KYC, know your transaction, KYC compliances. Then analytic and risk management side, derivative side. So in the UK financial sector, there are a lot of these financial use cases that we can implement into the blockchain side. Infrastructure development, offer tools to develop, integrate, and compile blockchain solution. So these are some of the, not only limited to this, there are a few other more. So where we can implement solutions for each of these areas, and you can bring a lot of innovative kind of solutions, because if you go for banks and financial institutes, always we can see a traditional kind of solutions for customers. But this gives this blockchain is a tech-enabled kind of a platform. So they are open for a lot of innovativeness. So there are a lot of innovative kind of financial products you can offer for the customers. So that is one of the benefits of the blockchain platform and the DeFi platform, where the developers can develop a lot of innovative kind of ideas into this ecosystem. So in this session, we are focusing on the decentralized finance, where financial or fintech related applications that we can develop, and we can provide a lot of innovative kind of features that in traditional banks you cannot find, because they have a standard set of features and products, right? But here we can provide a lot of innovative and creative kind of features for the end customers. And insurance is another area where there are a lot of use cases of the insurance side, where we can provide these kind of insurance related products using DeFi application, and peer-to-peer borrowing and lending. So if you want to borrow some cryptocurrencies, if you want to lend some cryptocurrencies, you can use this platform, DeFi solutions, to build according to that. So there are, you can see a lot of use cases. So these use cases, as I mentioned, are established, already established kind of use cases, but the technology is open. That means you can also come up with your own kind of innovative solutions to address this DeFi use case, and you can provide a unique kind of financial products using the DeFi. And that is what we are looking at, the use case side, and also how to implement these kind of solutions as a developers. So where we look at both aspects of things, and this is quite a new area. So there are a lot of new terms and terminologies are there. So you need to get familiar with the terminologies and names. So that is really important to get a clear idea about this kind of application development. That is quite important. Then the other set of use cases are digital identity, P2P borrowing lending, payment solutions, right? Decentralized organizations. So likewise, there are a lot of kind of use cases that we can offer for the end customers. So the customers who are using cryptocurrencies every day, they can use these kind of end products and they can use these capabilities for the end customers. So there are different kind of blockchain platforms out there that we can develop these kind of solutions, right? So in this session today, we are focusing on the neo blockchain and how you can develop a certain applications onto this platform. So toward the latter part of the session will be more developer focused, where we look at development tools and data technologies like React technology and the blockchain neo blockchain kit and different set of toolkits, how to get started with this. So that will be really interesting to get started. So you can create your own kind of DeFi solutions by following these steps. So that is the main idea of this session, where you can follow these steps and you can create your own kind of a blockchain DeFi solution, right? So every month we are bringing this kind of innovative kind of sessions to get you started with this kind of development and to get more broader understanding about these topics. So here we focus on the neo blockchain. So the neo blockchain is a blockchain platform that supports a lot of standard languages. So that is one of the advantage. So traditional developers go through languages like C# and Python. So the neo blockchain use C# and Python as their main the language. So where is kind of an advantage. If you look at other languages where you need to learn a technology language called Solidity, like in Ethereum, where it's an entirely different set of language syntax you need to follow. But here using Neo, you can use C# or Python kind of a language as your core language, and then you can start building programs. So these programs we call as smart contracts. So a smart contract is a building block of a blockchain application. So first you need to know how to write a smart contract. So using to know how to write a smart contract gives you a good understanding about the basic building block of a blockchain application. Once you're familiar with that, you can build the entire solution like a web-based application or mobile application that can connect into an entire blockchain application solution, right? So those are the steps that you need to follow. The first is writing a smart contract, how you can start with the building block of writing a smart contract. So once you write the smart contract, how you can integrate that to build the entire solution. So here in today's session, we are focusing on the neo blockchain, where in the neo blockchain, you can use C# and Python as your language to get started with this development. So here you can see these are some of the applications that already developed. The Flamingo Finance is one application that you can see is an interoperable DeFi solution for cross-chain assets, where I developed using the Neo blockchain platform. It's one use case. You can go to the website flamingo.finance and you can see the usage of the application, what kind of the benefits you can get in this application. You can see you can get earnings, you can get returns for your what you have invested using your cryptocurrencies. You can get a return using this application. So there's the entire suite of these applications. I will share the link as well in the chat. So here you can see, here you can go to the apps, and here you can see different categories, and you can see here different type of applications that is built. So you can see these applications we call as DApps, right? Like in the mobile apps, we call as mobile apps. So here the blockchain related apps we call as DApps or decentralized apps, where as a developers or as a solution developers, you need to familiar with how to build applications or to get understanding of building blocks. What are the things you need to follow to develop application like this? So the second one is called Switcho, which is a non-custodial cross-chain application for wallets, where you can integrate different kind of wallets and multiple platforms together. Because nowadays this cross-chain is really popular, because you know, these blockchains are running independently from one another. You have Ethereum, you have Neo blockchain, You have Binance chain. Likewise, there are a lot of blockchain networks are there. These are running independently. So that's why the cross-chain or the interoperability is quite important. How you can talk from one blockchain to another blockchain. If you have a certain currency, let's say Binance coin, then how you can convert that to a Neo, how you can convert that to Ethereum or Bitcoin. So likewise, this interoperability is quite important these days, where the solutions can also talk to one another, where you don't need, earlier it used to restrict only one blockchain network, but now it's connecting with multiple blockchain networks together, like a one seamless application. So that is another benefits of building today's blockchain applications. So now we'll go to our main topic, how you can build an application. What are the steps that you need to follow, right? What are the steps that you need to follow to build an application like this? So let's look at that. What are the steps you need to follow? The first step is, you can see, creating an initial design or initial mock-up of your application. So because you need to find like what kind of problem that you are going to solve, what kind of financial instrument that I'm going to implement. So that is the first thing that you need to follow up, and you can follow some like similar solutions out there that is perfectly fine. And you need to initially design maybe in a like an initial project plan, what kind of a project that I'm going to take and what are the steps that I need to follow. And this is what I need, my requirements, right? So based on that, we can start prototyping it, building UI UX and creating initial interfaces for this application. It could be one-page applications, or it could be multiple pages with more dynamic kind of behaviors. So that we need to plan. So this prototyping, in the early prototyping stage, you can use a software like Figma to create UI UX. And also you can use also you can directly use the user interface development tools like a front-end development frameworks like React. So using React, we can create the UI, the initial UI, and then we can start building up on top of that. So your front-end could be React or Vue.js or Angular, that kind of a front-end framework that you need to follow. Then the backend will be the blockchain network. So the backend logics you need to implement using the smart contract. So you need to implement the logic, how this particular transaction work, what are the steps and what kind of logics. Let's say just a simple example, let's say if you invest coins, if you invest 100 coins in our system for 3 months, I will give 1% return. So that is a logic. So you can implement that logic in the smart contract and you can deploy it. So once you deploy it and build a solution, then users can put their currencies, cryptocurrencies into a solution, and they will get returned 1%, and what they have the invested back to their wallets. So likewise, we can implement certain logics on top of that to create this kind of a total solution. So we need to implement this logics using the smart contract. That is the basic thing. So we can use in your blockchain either C# or Python to create this smart contract that's containing these logics. So again, I would recommend do not mix a lot of use cases into one solution because there's no blockchain application like that. So you cannot create this feature, that feature, all the things like into a super app. You might have maybe 1 or 2 maximum, or one is much better. So it need to be simplified for the user. So they know what they're expecting from the application. They may be investing into some kind of a digital assets or insurance product or yield financing, getting some return from what they have invested. So likewise, just focus on one area. Do not put all these features into one application, then it will be much complicated for users and it will give a lot of trouble. So you can look at some similar applications in the market and you can add more like innovative features on top of that. But it need to focus on one specific area. That is a really key. Otherwise, user will confuse because these users are mostly a different age group, right? So, the blockchain users, so the people who own these currencies will use your website, right? Use your platform. So you need to think from their perspective. The site need to be a really nice look and feel in terms of UI UX, and also how interactive is that. And then also you need to clearly mention what they are getting at. So if you invest this amount, you will get this kind of a return, or you can own these digital assets and you get this ownership of these digital assets, things like that. So you need to clearly mention what they are going to expect from the system that you can implement in the smart contract. Then comes the integration. So we need to now integrate the front end with the back end. So the front end, as I mentioned, would be React, Vue.js, AngularJS, like the front end frameworks. And the back end could be the newer blockchain that we can integrate. So we need to integrate the back end smart contract into the React front end, right? So there are multiple ways to integrate this. So in the Neo platform, we have this Neo One toolkit. So using Neo One toolkit, we can integrate the blockchain platform into the front end, right? Because the smart contract writing individually as a one single kind of the logic. Then once you compile it, it create like a binary, and then we can connect that to the React project using JSON format, where we can integrate into the front end application. Then once you have that initial connection set up, you can test locally. So there are different way of testing. So you cannot test like directly deploying into the actual blockchain, because it will give a lot of issues. So that's why you need to initially test in your local environment or testnet. So we call as testnet. Most of these blockchain networks, they are providing a testnet environment, like a test environment to get you started with the testing of the application. Or you can even set up a local blockchain network that is giving you a really good kind of a flexibility for your application. Then once you tested out all these steps, then only you can build the final deployment into the live environment. So that is you need to follow, because in the blockchain environment, you cannot delete a record once it's written into the network. It's permanently writing into that blockchain network. So where it involves transaction fee, which is called gas fee, and a particular set of the cryptocurrency value for that particular blockchain. So we need to make sure that we are having enough kind of a transaction coins and the gas fees in order to complete these deployments into the live blockchain. Once it's going into the live blockchain network, anyone in the blockchain network can access your application, and you can also further make it more like you can build a community around it. You can use things like Discord, Telegram, and other social medias like Reddit, Twitter, those kind of medias to promote your application, and you can build a community around it. So that's how the blockchain applications, there's a one component of designing and component of development, and there's another component of community-based interaction, because you need to have a community to support your application or solutions that you are developing. So it's a collaboration that we are working on this platform. So you can see the steps. I will come to the steps again during the end, but you can see high level, you need to follow these steps: designing, prototyping, implementing, integration with the front end and back end, and deploying into the testnet and the mainnet. So this is a solution that we are building. So you can see the screenshot of the application. This is the UI UX part, where you have a yield financing application, where you can invest, or you can put a certain cryptocurrency into this system, and then you can expect a certain return from it, right? And also we can come up with our own kind of a token also to represent as well, where we call as ICO, where we can also introduce our own token for that. So that is the innovative part, like what are the things you are going to implement in your solution that is really defined by these kind of features that you are implementing. So this is the one that we are working on this particular session. So here you can see we can invest in a certain, the customers can invest into their certain cryptocurrencies, and they can expect a certain return back after, let's say, 1 month or 1 year or 1 day. So they can expect certain return back for their wallets. That is the ultimate goal of this. So for each of these transactions, there's a certain transaction fee involved. So there are certain fee that happen by the network, and there's certain fee that's getting by the system. If you look at normal the cryptocurrency exchange also, the main the revenue the cryptocurrency exchange using their transaction fee. there's certain fee for the blockchain network. On top of that, they have also implementing a certain transaction fee. So that is a main kind of the financial tool or the revenue methods that they are having using that transaction fee. But in this kind of a solution, we can have additional kind of a fee like a monthly subscription or yearly fee. You know, when you have a financial instrument, there's a certain kind of a payments you need to pay like in a bank, there's a annual fee or monthly fee or something like that. So we can charge those kind of a fee, but of course we need to mention what we are charging, what they are expecting, all these things clearly in the website. Without their knowing, we cannot do any of that. So we need to clearly specify what they are getting at and what kind of the solutions and what kind of expectation that they are looking at from this. So here, as I mentioned, we can initially design the application, and we can design the core features of the DeFi solution. So like how you can deposit the money, how you can withdraw, and how you can harvest. That means how you can get yield, how it generate the yield from that. So we can design these specific key terms in our application. So you can find similar solutions like that, and you can get some of these features from this, or you can come up with your own unique kind of idea. That's also also okay, where you can build according to that, right? Then you need to decide the blockchain platform and the toolkit that you are working on to deploy this solution. And after that, you need to build a community to support, right? So you need to build a social community to support with these deployments. So as I mentioned, Neo1 is one of the main toolkit that is supporting with this installation. So here you can see we are using Neo1 platform SDK to support with the development. So mainly we can start with the creating a React application because most of the time front end can be React, but some are using Vue.js, AngularJS, and other platforms. So the front end could be React. So then we can install the Neo1 platform where it have integration to the React application, right? So that's how the connection happen. So I have shown you the steps like at the initially like this. So where we need to follow these certain steps. We need to start prototyping, creating UI UX, and building smart contract, and then we need to do the integration with the front end with the blockchain application. So that is where the Neo1 comes in, where we can integrate the certain solution together with the platform. So let me show these things, how this is going to connect from one another. So let me show that. So here in this, you can see in this one, where I create empty folder. So where I can create application. So I can create empty React application using the React command. So that will give you a React template to you to get started with like this. So this will create a React application in this folder like this. Then after you create your React application, on top of that, we can install the Neo blockchain kit, which is giving you the smart contract compilation and integration deployment into the testnet or the livenet. So first we need to build like a normal React application. If you look at normal React application, we are connecting with some kind of a backend, could be Firebase, or it could be MongoDB or DynamoDB kind of a database. But in this, we are not doing that. We are connecting with the blockchain network. So in this particular topic, we are connecting with the Neo blockchain, where we need to use the Neo1 blockchain network, blockchain SDK to connect. So here you can see the create React app will create specifically create the React template. Then from that on, we can initiate the Neo1 blockchain. For that, there's another tool that we need to start, which is called Yarn. So if you are coming from a front-end development, you might heard these terms. The Yarn is a package that we can use to speed up things in the React environment. So here you can see now the React template is created, where you can go to this folder using cd command, right? Like this. Then in this folder, you can see we have several set of modules where it is a Node.js application, where we have SRC folder. So SRC folder, we have the source code of the front end, UI UX, where this is like a hello world kind of application where we initiate as a React application. And then we have this node module that is having all the packages. So at the moment, there's no blockchain enabled in this. It's just a React application. So we can use like npm start to see what's underneath. So here we can say npm start, and then you can start this application where you can see what is just a hello world kind of application, where it can initiate this in a local deployment server like this, where it containing like a hello world kind of a React application, just the front end. So we can use this template to get started with the front end development like this. So you can see this is just a hello world kind of application where we can use this to create that UI I have shown you. So yeah, we can initially design up that UI user interface like this with these components that we can initially create from the React environment, which is the front end is purely using the React front end development tools. Then after that, we can install. So let me stop this. So after that, we can install the Neo blockchain toolkit that is containing to the backend development. So to support that, we need to also install this tool called Yarn. So Yarn is a supporting tool that is kind of like a faster processing technique for the Node.js. So we can use npm install Yarn, where Yarn is supporting tool to get started with this Neo blockchain, where it's a kind of a faster processing technique. So now you can see we can install, we close this. So now you can check the folder. So we didn't have any changes at the moment. So now we can install the Neo one, the package that is containing the backend connections or the backend deployment in the blockchain. So let me install this. So you can say yarn add at Neo one like this. Then we can say SUI suite, right? So this will add a certain set of folders. So here you can see this will update according to this. Once you add these certain folders, so this will add the Neo one framework into the this our existing folder. So based on that, you will get the blockchain compilation, deployment, initialization, all these things together in this toolkit. So now we can easily integrate backend with the front end once you install this Neo one, the package, right? And you can also follow these steps later as well, since this meetup session is recording. I will be share the recording of the video as well. So you can follow these steps afterward as well. And if you have any questions of these steps, you can further contact us as well. So here with this installation, you can see the slide as well. So with this installation, with the this command yarn add Neo one suite, we'll be adding these blockchain components into the platform, right? So we'll be adding these blockchain components into this platform. There's a question, about the screen recording. So we'll be sharing this meetup recording in the meetup group. So you can take a look at it and you can follow the areas, because we are covering a lot of these new topics and new areas. So it will be helpful to go through the video and follow the steps. And also you can reach out to us if you have any further questions afterward. So here you can see now the installation is happening. We are installing the Neo one suite like this. So it will install the relevant packages and dependencies like this. Once it's completed, we can use the CLI commands or the command line steps to get started with the Neo blockchain backend deployment. So now you can see it's completed, where it added a lot of supporting libraries, to get started with the deployment. So now you can say, now you can use this command. We can say something like this. We can use a command like this. So we can say Neo one init. Using that, we can initialize the project. All right. Init command. So init command. So init command. So using the init command, you can initialize the packages where you can see this just updated. Our folder set is just updated with this. What happened? You can see there's a new folder called Neo1 just added. Earlier there wasn't any folder. I have shown you there's only React application we created. There wasn't any folder called Neo1. So now they have added a new folder called Neo1 and the contract, and they have added the hello contract, hello world kind of the contract as well, the smart contract. And then if you go to SRC folder, also you can see it's updated, and here we have this public folder. So you can see it's updated the new folder called contracts, right? And also it added new file called neo1 config.js. So this is also a configuration file that is just added, right? Open this file, right? So this is like a configuration file. So in this configuration file, you can add all the deployment, all the steps that you need to follow to deploy. Let's say I want to deploy my application into the local blockchain. I want to deploy my application into the public blockchain, where you can all this information in the migration section, in the network section. You can give the network port and the network details. There's a certain network URL to connect into the live blockchain, connect into the test blockchain, or even a local blockchain, where you can update this network information in the network section, and you can connect to the blockchain network directly. Our application then can be deployed into the blockchain network. Because when you are doing web development, we need to do a process called hosting, web hosting, where we host our application. So likewise in the blockchain, we call as the deployment into the blockchain network. So our backend will be deployed into the blockchain network, but still we need to deploy the front end to a certain hosting, because you cannot run the front end locally all the time. So we need to maybe get a domain address, and then we need to host it into the blockchain network, right? So you can look at different applications like that. So let me show like a working application before giving the output of our application. So in these applications, you can see it asking for a wallet, and then it's asking for a certain like the steps to follow to get started with the development and start transacting with this, right? If you have any questions, of course, you can ask. You can post into the chat, or you can unmute yourself and you can ask. We don't need to wait until the Q&A time. You can, if you have any questions, you can ask, or you can further reach out to us as well, right? So here, once you init the command, we can see we initialize some of these commands. Then there are certain other commands like build command, right? So we have this build command, we can build the solution, build the blockchain product, right? Then there's a compile command, so you can see it's building, right? So likewise, there's a deploy command. So likewise, we can create our solution from these steps. We can follow these steps, and we can build the applications according to this. So let me show one of the working application, and I will explain from that as well. So this one is one of the working application. So let me start up this application. Right, so this is the applications that I have shown you. Where let me just opening up. So if you have any questions, you can ask, right? So here you can see this is the application that I've shown you. So here we have this UI that we have developed from the React side, and that is connected with the smart contracts in the backend using the Neo blockchain platform. And also on top of that, we can use the wallet. So the wallets, we can use the wallet called Neoline. So Neoline is a wallet that we can use to interact with the Neo blockchain platform. So where we can use the testnet or the livenet, mainnet. These are the two different networks. The testnet is for the testing network. Mainnet is a live network. So you can get like test credits using testnet, and you can also transact with the mainnet as well, where you can see transfer. So if you I can transfer to another account like this, then I can receive from this QR code like that. So I can interact So let's say I have 15 years at the moment. Let's say I have 15 years at the moment. Then I can interact with this application, and now you can invest. Let's say, for example, I put 10 years into the application, and after one day I will get 11 years. Then that's why I go into this kind of application where I can invest into the DeFi application, then I can get back return as 11 years after that. So that is how these kind of solutions can be built, where there are a lot of different financial instruments that we can build. So there are a lot of financial applications that we can build using blockchain, and you can see the total market value of the DeFi itself is in billions, and total market value of each of these blockchain network is in trillions. So where majority of the applications are in the DeFi space, which is decentralized finance space, then other applications are in the NFT space, and others are in the metaverse and those kind of interactive kind of environments as well. And there are other utility and other type of applications are there. But majority of the applications reside in the DeFi space, where it provides a lot of kind of financial kind of solutions back to the user. So here you can see here this user interface code where it's built using the React environment. So here you can see if you are familiar with the React development, you may go through some of these coding syntax. I use React.js syntax where we can define these functionalities like the rethrow function, invest or the stake function, getting the balance, things like that. Then you can see this is the stake function where they can put some amount and they can get a return. And this is the UI user interface. You can develop the user interface like this, just using the syntax of the UI UX user interface syntax on React. You can build the user interface like this. So this is the user interface for the solution that I have shown you, this one. So where we have several kind of the transaction solutions like that. So where we have Neo, Cake, like BDUSD, USDT, right? It's like different, we call this as the yield financing, and also against, like in a traditional currency kind of a scenario, you have USD to GPB, yen to the Singapore dollar. So likewise, different currency kind of values. So you can also put or invest, get returns on that as well. So likewise, these are different options that we can follow through, and we can get a return out of it. So this is a one example scenario that we can build. And for this, as I mentioned, we need to use this Neo One toolkit. Let me also share that resource site as well. So this one, you can follow this Neo One documentation, and you can look at how you can set up the environment, create the React application, and then start building the applications on top of that. And also you can see the commands that are executed, like the init command, build command, generate command, like that. You can follow these commands. There's a question, I'm a beginner, what resource would you suggest to start with clarity on the DeFi? So first one is you can look at the use cases, like what are the use cases of DeFi, decentralized finance, because decentralized finance is like a certain term, right? So where is defined how you can create a financial application. If you look at like a banking application, you're already familiar because you are using mobile banking or banking related fintech applications you are using every day. So DeFi is a solution for that, for the blockchain itself. So you can first research the use cases. In the slide also I mentioned some of the areas that familiar, and then you can start with the one you are familiar with, because there's some certain financial domain background also needed for certain, because even though we are doing in the blockchain, we need to follow the same financial principles in the banking related environment as well. So the certain financial background or the domain knowledge also required for some solution. So that's why you can look at use cases and then get started with the one area that more closer to you or more easy to implement for you, right? It could be a simple exchange or a simple like a getting a digital assets or something like that. Just a simple use case, very simple one. You can start from that point. Do not like look at all the things, because anyway, even you cannot develop all the solutions, right? So it's not possible. You can only start with one then only we can start building others. So we start with a very simple solution and think about a use case scenario. So in the slide I mentioned if you go back to the slide, I mentioned where you need to follow this step. So the first step is to design your application. So you need to come up with a very simple kind of idea or the steps that you need to follow. That's where some financial background. So if you are coming from the financial industry, that's really helps. But if you're not coming from the financial industry, let's say you are from the IT industry, then we don't have a financial domain knowledge. So that's where you can start with something that's familiar to you. It could be like a banking application that you may use, so some certain function. So that is your starting point. Then you can research further on that topic, right? Then you can start creating some UI UX and implementing some smart contracts. And then only you can follow the other steps, right? So you can see steps that to follow. So this is like even beginner level, you can follow these steps. So first step is start with application or design application that more closer to you based on your kind of a background knowledge, right? Because even if you're expert in IT, financial domain is completely different, right? So if you're good with financial, then you are not good with IT. So likewise, it's a mix of both kind of domains get together to build this kind of a DeFi application. Maybe you have a friend that working in the financial sector. Maybe you can talk to them and think they might not know about blockchain, but you can talk to them and get some idea about some solution or some idea how you can implement. Then you can refer that back to the blockchain and you can implement, because what we are implementing in the blockchain also something that feasible, something that is there similar to the non-financial world, right? So that's why it's really important to go these steps and do not try to learn everything together. So you can start by step, starting very small, starting with the one single application to get started with that, right? So that is the main smart part, because if you try to do everything together, it's not possible. For example, let's say you try to build a UI, that is React. You try to write smart contract, that is different program. You try to build, so those are multiple things, right? You need to have multiple skill set to create everything or connect everything together. So that's why you can start from one point and see what are the things that you are good at and what are the things that you are not good at. And you can start then learning these other things that you are not good at. As I mentioned, these are heavily related to the financial domain. So if you are not from the financial field, that is also, you need to talk anyone from the financial field to get some understanding. As I mentioned, they might not know about blockchain, but they know very well in the financial sector what kind of the technical terms are there in the financial sector, and we can implement similar things in the blockchain side also, because this domain is really important, the concepts wise. Then we can convert that ideology and convert that concepts into the blockchain itself, right? So this is the application that we are designing, and this is the initial kind of the input that you need to have. Then we are using the Neo 1 blockchain to build that. So as I mentioned, you can start with the template. Always start with the template. They gives you all the building blocks to get started. So there's no you don't need nowadays to build from scratch like a notepad or something. Just start with some template. So the template gives you a starter projects. Sometimes you can refer some sample projects in GitHub or other tutorials. Like there are Medium website that providing a lot of similar tutorials, and GitHub providing a lot of sample projects to you to explore these areas. But some of the things you need to be good at programming side. So that's why better to initially understand this in the concept level and then go into the programming level. So as I mentioned, you can start the React and then you can start installing Neo 1, where it gives you all these capabilities. And also you can visit this site to get some test Neo credits or the Neo cryptocurrencies. Using this website, you can enter your entry address and you need to verify your GitHub account, and it will transfer 50 Neo for your account using this website. So you can take a note of this website where it gives you 50 free testnet credits for you to test out and deploy your applications. And this is the wallet, which is a Neo line. So this wallet is really important. That is the main application the consumer interact with. The initial starting point for a consumer could be the blockchain exchange, right? Like a Binance kind of exchange where they put USD and they convert that to a certain cryptocurrencies. So once that's point onward, they interact with the wallet, then they find look at different applications. What I'm going to do with my set of cryptocurrencies. Some are just buying and selling, but some are doing more interactive kind of solutions or applications, right? The DeFi sits on one area, then there's NFT, Metaverse. There are a lot of different kind of areas that they are working on, and they get more return. Let's say they have 10 neos, and after 5 days they get 20, like that. So they likewise, there are a lot of these kind of solutions out there to provide more values for the end customers and also for solution developers as well. So entirely the platform or the ecosystem is also developing because we are building more and more solutions into the ecosystem, that is DApps, right? So where you need to use the Neoline wallet in the Neo blockchain deployments in the DeFi application. So you can see these are some of the commands that we have executed that you can use. I will also share this website link. You can follow through the documentation and you can see how step by step you can connect these things. As I shown you, you need to come up with a very simple idea to get started with, and then you need to build relevant UI UX from that, and then you can connect the blockchain backend with the UI UX using the binaries. Once you compile a smart contract, it will create a binary. So that binary you can connect with the front end, and you can test that in a local blockchain before actually publishing. Then if every functionality is working for your expectation, you can deploy that into the live blockchain network, where once you deployed it, it will deploy into the live blockchain network. And also you can also host your application in the web environment as well, right? So these are the things that you can get familiar with. So there are a lot of technical terms also with that. So that's why you need to get familiar with. So blockchain space is quite a vast, bigger space, and a lot of new innovations. Now we are discussing about Web 3.0. So Web 3.0 is a new web technology that's going to come in now. So until that, we are using Web 2.0. Initially, it started with Web 1.0, and then now we are using the Web 2.0 concepts like dynamic sites, Ajax, and the HTML5 and things like that. But with the Web 3.0, everything will be in blockchain. Entire web will be in the blockchain itself. So the Web 3.0 will convert entire web interfaces into the blockchain itself. So that gives more boost to the blockchain ecosystem and the web platforms as well. So most of the web platforms will be converted into the Web 3.0, which is blockchain based automatically. So that's why we have a lot of now solutions built into the Web 3.0 platforms, blockchain related solutions, games, and other applications. So that's why it's really important to learn these things to get started on these kind of tool sets and technologies. So here you can see the command line. So we can implement this command in VS Code, or we can use the command line to interact with this code. And where you can see we will get this kind of the folder structure where a new one will be integrated into the React application, where we can develop the front end and we can connect the back end and we can build the entire blockchain solution. And we can then test it locally, and then we can deploy it into the live blockchain network. So I have given you the steps to follow, where we can create application like that, where we can create the front end, and then we can connect the back end with the smart contract, and where we can transact with this kind of a wallet to interact with this application, where the customers or the end users can invest or put some currencies from the wallet here, deposit, and then they can use the harvest function. So a particular the returns based on a certain returns values, they will earn some yield. So this is a yield financing application. So they will earn certain yield, and then they can return back. So the system users will get benefit from the providing a transaction fee. So that's the main beneficial for the system user, right? So we'll be sharing this recording as well. So if you miss any steps, you can follow from that as well. So finally, for deployment, because at the moment you can see I'm running this in localhost. Localhost means it's running as a local application, but that's not enough, right? So we need to create a live application. So initially I have shown some sites like the real published sites, something like this, Flamingo Finance. If you go to this, you can see this is the hosted application. So you can go to this website, which is flamingo.finance. Right. So if you go to this website, you can see like this. So there's the blockchain elements right here. So we can get started, right? So we can add some values into this liquidity pool. We can deposit some values, and we can see you can connect the wallet, right? So there are different, you can connect with the Neoline wallet like this. So it will connecting to the Neoline wallet, and then we can start transacting from the mainnet. So this application, remember, you cannot work on the testnet. It's on the mainnet. Once it's hosted, it only transacts with the mainnet. Once you release the application in the production stage, it's only working with the mainnet, not in the testnet. Once it's communication happen, you can start doing some like swapping. There are certain techniques, add liquidity, create a liquidity pool like that, staking, like unstake. So there are certain activities that we can follow. So you can see this is hosted in a domain where you need to purchase a domain. So a popular subdomain or the top level domain is .finance for decentralized application. Maybe you have seen in a lot of, if you are in the blockchain space, you know, .finance is a popular the sub topic name that the lot of DeFi application use. Using .finance, you can both buy a domain and you can host. So this is most probably a React application, or it could be Vue or Angular. So where the front end need to be hosted into the like a normal website hosting, and then you can connect the backend into the smart contract and the Neo blockchain platform. So here you can see it invokes the wallet, and the customers or the end users can interact with the wallet using that. Right. So here, let's go to the next part. Okay. So as I mentioned, you need to then finally look at the deployment side. So the deployment can be done using Heroku platform, or you can use cloud like Azure, AWS platform, where you can host in different platforms. But the Neo one dependency need to be there, because not only the front end, it directly have a dependency for the Neo one, where it need to talk with the blockchain backend and the front end. So there are a lot of platforms that we can connect. We can connect Azure, AWS, or Heroku platform, DigitalOcean, like platforms, and we can get a domain and connect the hosting, and we can release, right? Okay. Then we cannot stop from there. Then there's another part that's not relevant to the development. We need to build a community, right? So we need to create a Discord community. We need to create a Telegram community, Reddit community. So likewise, we need to gather like-minded people to use our site, right? So in traditional websites, we might use things like SEO and traditional social media marketing techniques. But in blockchain community development, we are using a completely different kind of social strategies. For example, we need to use Discord as our main platform, and the Telegram, and also Reddit and other platform, Twitter. We are not using things like LinkedIn, Facebook most of the time for promoting blockchain applications. There are certain set of platforms that is blockchain users familiar with, and certain set of websites and other kind of environments that they are familiar with. So we need to implement, or we need to create strategies to promote our blockchain application. So building application is one thing. At the same time, we need to look at how you can promote, how we can build a community out of it. Because if you have a bigger community, bigger user base, then you have more customers or more end users coming into your platform. So that is another kind of strategies, things like that. Maybe we can discuss in a separate session, where you need to look at how you can promote further this platform. As I mentioned, it's completely different from promoting like a standard website where we use like things like Facebook marketing and so SEO. Here we need to use entirely different strategies to promote blockchain solutions apart from the traditional ways, right? So the next workshop, we are going to discuss about Metaverse development, how you can create Metaverse applications, and this is directly connected with Web 3.0 concepts also I mentioned, and using your blockchain, how you can create a Metaverse kind of application. It's a digital 2D or 3D kind of environments, how you can build, how you can use these capabilities to interact in this metaverse environment. There are a lot of, again, use cases, things like that we can discuss. So as a community, we are every month bringing in a lot of these innovative topics for you to get started and develop further in this emerging technology side. Okay, so then some more resources. You can go to neo1.io to visit and get more developer resources, documentation to follow in that. And also, I would like to highlight the hackathon that is coming up. Neo1 hackathon. We have a few more days to register. You need to register before 9th of May, where you can win a lot of prizes. So you can build a DeFi application, or you can build a very like an innovative application or a metaverse application like that, and you can win a lot of prizes from this platform. So it's a hackathon that is starting on 9th of May. So you can register in the meetup group. I have put down the link to register as well. So you can take a look at it, and you can register as individual or you can register as team to get started. And you can put your innovative idea and you can win a lot of prize money. Start building during the hackathon program. So make sure to enter to that as well. I have put down in the meetup page about the hackathon details. Okay, so if you have any question, and we can discuss those things. So as I mentioned, every month we are bringing a lot of these kind of innovative topics. So stay tuned to our meetup group. And every month we are planning to bring a lot of innovative topics like this. So today we have around over 70 registrations where we discuss a lot of these kind of topics. So if you have any further questions, you can note down our email address. And also we'll be sharing this recording through our YouTube channel, and we'll be sharing through the meetup group as well. So you can also take a look at it and go through the steps that we have discussed. And if you have further questions, you can reach out. I'll give another like a 1 minute if you have any further question. So questions put in the chat, I have answered. So as I mentioned, to build the DeFi application, main thing you need to familiar with the financial domain. So you need to have some financial domain understanding plus the IT understanding. So where the blockchain and the technology stack is quite important. You need to know the key terms of the blockchain and how you can create smart contract, how you can connect that. Then the front end development is completely different, where the React is, it's not only for blockchain, where we can build a web applications and other solutions using React application that is connected from that. So it's a really good kind of a area to explore in, and it's going to be a kind of mainstream in coming years with Web 3.0. So you can research about those areas as well. As the Web 3.0 have this decentralized concept, and it could be more lightweight kind of a web platforms that we are going to have with the Web 3.0 parts, where we have a lot of these kind of native features built into browsers. At the moment, you can see we need to install these wallets and all this, but it will be native into in coming years. So you can just explore these areas as well. So every month we will discuss these kind of innovative topics. So keep engaged to our group. I think we have discussed a lot of areas in today's session. And thank you for the feedback. And if you have further questions, you can write to us, and we will share meeting recording also. And thank you again for joining this meetup today. Thank you.